Welcome back to Twits, folks. This week in the saddle. Well, in this case, it's probably nearer 2 weeks in the saddle. Anyway, if you want to find out what I've been up to with my bikes over the last couple of weeks or so, stick around and stay tuned. Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here. Hope you're well, and welcome back to the channel. I've just noticed how red I'm looking today. I have been out in the sunshine, actually. It's been an absolute cracking day today. I've mowed the lawn and done all sorts of stuff. I hope it's good where you are anyway. It's been a nice riding day, which makes a change because over the weekend it was absolutely pants around here. Anyway, I digress. So as usual, we've got an absolutely packed show for you. So let's start off, shall we, by having a little look at what I had in the garage a week or so ago. Right, folks, welcome back to the garage, and what you take a look at this beauty I've got here. It is, of course, the brand new BMW R12 GS, which brand new for 2025. It is, of course, a bike that harks back to the old R80 of, in fact, I think it was about 1984 they first came out, and this very much has its design cues from there. It's the latest on the R12 platform, of course. Unlike the old, what was it called, the R9T Scrambler that they did a while back. No, sorry, not the Scrambler, the R9T GS. What's it called? No, the Urban GS it was called, wasn't it? This bike isn't just a exercise in prettification. This is actually a proper off-road bike, and if you want proof of that, go and watch Chris Northover's review from Bike World. I recently saw his video. He absolutely put this through its paces in South Wales off-road and showed that you can really do some proper off-roading on this. He said it wasn't hardcore enduro bike. Of course it's not, but he did some pretty hardcore riding as far as I'm concerned. Not the sort of thing, unfortunately, you're going to see on here, because I'm rubbish off-road and I'm not feeling very well. You might gather I'm just getting over COVID, so I haven't ridden this as much as I would have wanted to, but I have got a review coming out if it's not already up on the channel. But let me just give you a little bit of a look at the bike, because I do think it's a beautiful thing. Now, I have various comments on Instagram from people saying that they either love it or they hate it, so obviously it splits opinions, but I think particularly in this colour, it looks very, very nice indeed. I love what they've done with things like the red frame, the old 1170cc air and oil-cooled boxer engine looks great now with this new sort of rugged crackle finish that they're giving them. This bike, it being a press bike, is of course absolutely laden with all the features that you can throw at this. So this ends up, I had a look on the configurator, and it came out something like 19,500 quid, something like that, with all the options that this has got. So this has got all the packs as well: enduro pack, comfort pack. So the enduro pack, I think, gives you the 21-inch front wheel, I think it's 18-inch rear wheel. Gives you things, and this has also got, you know, all the options, 719 bits of bling on it. It's got the enduro pegs, which I think comes with that pack. It's got the comfort pack as well, which gives you things like heated grips. I'm showing up here because there's a button for the heated grips, there we go, as well as cruise control and stuff like that. So if you want to use it for actual touring, you could do. When I did my review, I actually said this bike you could use as an everyday bike, as an all-rounder. I mean, you absolutely could. Although I would say these knobbly tyres, you can feel that they're knobbly when you're on the road. Not all knobbly tyres are like that. These are Anarchy Wilds on here from Michelin, and they are a little bit, well, you know you're on knobblies, put it that way, but not as bad as the old Scrambler was. It's not hideous, but it's not, you know, it doesn't feel like a road bike. In fact, I found it a bit kind of leggy when I was riding this on the road, by which I mean it is a very, very tall bike indeed. Giraffes only really need to apply. I'm 5'8" and I'm on my tippy toes when I'm on this bike. And so I personally wouldn't want to ride it off-road anyway. Number one, because it's expensive. Number two, if I can't get my feet properly down, I don't feel safe if I'm off-road. So yeah, not for me off-roading. So it would be very definitely an on-road bike for me. And the handling, because it's so tall and it's got massive suspension travel, which again adds to its off-roading credentials, it means the handling is a bit odd when you're on the road. You know, it does feel a bit like, well, I sort of thought after I'd done my review, it feels a bit like what you'd imagine it is riding a unicycle, because this front end is so huge. I mean, and it physically is a very, very large bike. That said, it doesn't feel particularly heavy. It's quite easy to move around in and out of the garage, you know, relatively speaking. And yeah, overall, it's a lovely thing, isn't it? I like a retro bike, me, so it's going to appeal to me anyway. It's wasted on me, as I say, because I'm not an off-road rider. But yeah, what a beautiful thing. If you like this sort of bike, then do stick around, stay tuned to the channel, because if it's not up already, there'll be a review on this one soon. So what a beauty the R12 GS is, isn't it? I really enjoyed riding that. And that review I mentioned is actually coming up. It's scheduled at the moment for the 18th of October. So a week or two away yet, but that date may change, but that's the current schedule anyway.
So that's what I had in the garage a couple of weeks ago. Some more from the garage a bit later. But before then, let's have a little ride out, shall we? So yesterday, Sunday, I know I said the weather was pants over the weekend, but actually Sunday was pretty nice around here. Saturday was windy. Friday was a nightmare. Anyway, yesterday I went for a ride with Mrs. Flyer on the Kawasaki's. So let's join us both out on the bike, shall we?
Well, folks, you find me and Mrs. Flyer out in the environs of Great Missenden. Check out this view over here, absolutely beautiful. Sometimes you forget what you've got on your doorstep, don't you? And this time of year, it's still early autumn, but the leaves are just starting to change, and in some cases it's looking beautiful around here. Anyway, bit of a disaster in the Flyer household this morning because it's a Sunday, and we like a leisurely start to a Sunday if we can, and we like to enjoy a decent cup of coffee, but alas, we're out of coffee supplies. So it being a lovely day, we thought we should venture out and get ourselves a coffee. So we're going to have a try of the place that we have seen many times. It always seems to be close to us. It's the Old Red Lion Cafe at Bradenham, which is an old pub which has been converted to a cafe. And to say, it always looks closed when we go past, but according to the website it's open, so we are pretty desperate for a coffee, so that better be the case. And then the other slight issue I've got is I've got no fuel on this bike either, so we need to call in a petrol station forthwith. It's fabulous to be out on my Kawasaki once again. I haven't ridden this in earnest for, well, for over a month actually since I've been out on this bike, and I've been riding those Royal Enfields recently and my GS, obviously all quite heavy bikes, and twins as well. Morning, lots of bikes out today. Hello Mr. RT. And yeah, this just feels really light in comparison to those other bikes. It's so smooth with its 4-cylinder engine. Absolute winner. Mrs. Fly just making comment that those riders didn't wave at us. It is not compulsory, but less and less people are waving now these days, aren't they? It's a bit of a shame. I wave at everybody, even scooters and Harleys. That's what sort of a rider I am. You'd think somebody on an RT would wave, wouldn't you? I thought he flashed his lights. I don't know. I have to watch the video back again and analyse. We might be doing him a disservice, Carol. So regular viewers of the channel may recognise this road as the run up to Chequers, the country home of the British Prime Minister, just through those gates there. And of course we had Donald Trump visit on his state visit about 2 weeks ago, something like that. And when he came to Chequers to meet up with Keir Starmer, I thought I'd come down and have a look, see if I could see the choppers come in, Marine One and all that. I was foiled. I couldn't get within about 2 miles. I got stopped by Kent police. Given we're in Buckinghamshire, you don't see Kent police here very often, but there were police absolutely everywhere, as you can imagine. Much more security than last time Trump visited on his previous administration. And then a few days before I'd come down here, and all along here there was metal barriers right the way along this hedge on my left, and there were cameras and lights every about 200 yards, something like that. Massive, proper, scary looking security cameras. I mean, there's usually security cameras here anyway. We'll pass one in a minute up here, but it was absolutely locked down. It was incredible. Solid walls all the way around the perimeter, loads of cameras, and you couldn't get within 2 miles. And I didn't even see Marine One, and I was a couple of miles away on what I thought was the flight path. Check out these trees here, look absolutely beautiful. And then the day after he left, I came back again. Everything had been taken away, including all the steel walls, within a day. It was incredible. So there's usually a camera here, I think. Can we see one there? No, I think I've gone past it. But yeah, it's pretty bristling with security anyway, as you'd imagine. But I've never seen anything quite like that for the Trump visit. It was quite something. So we're just approaching Prince's Risborough now, where there's a garage, which is good news as far as I'm concerned, because I'm knocking on the stops of fuel here. We'll just turn the camera on because this Volkswagen ahead of me, it's one of these ID buzzes, like the electric camper van thing. And generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of electric vehicles. They make sense in some situations, but that is just a cool looking thing, isn't it? Doesn't look so cool from behind, but from the front and sides it looks brilliant. Dead expensive, and again I'm not sure how practical electric would be in a camper van, because normally you'd be doing big distances in them, wouldn't you? So it'd be a pain in the backside to keep charging up. However, they are cool looking things. Right, fuel station next. Right, let's get these beasts filled up with the good stuff. Supreme, that'll do. Little drinky for you. Little drinky for you. Right, the bikes have had a little drinky. It's time for us to find ours now. We're desperate for that coffee. Let's hope this place is open, otherwise we're in big trouble. And here we are, folks, at the Red Lion. Don't know where Carol's going. Follow me. Slightly gravelly. Let's I don't know what makes sense to stick them over here.
Right, so we've parked up in a very sunny but very noisy car park. Just thought I'd have a quick word because I don't know whether we'll be able to talk in the cafe because it might be a bit quiet and full of people having a quiet breakfast or something, or actually lunch by now. Anyway, you haven't ridden the bike for a while, Carol. How'd you find it?
No, it was lovely to be out. It's lovely to be out. I haven't ridden since middle of July. I went out once for half an hour about a month ago. I've been injured, so...
Fair enough. What a nightmare.
I know, I've missed all that good weather.
Yeah, it was a cracking year for it this year, wasn't it?
I know, haven't got to Wales, so I'm a bit gutted about that. And I know there's some time left, but I'm just busy now with...
No, you never know. The season's not quite over yet, is it, folks?
No.
But it has been, this last week, we've had a big storm over the weekend. Well, yesterday. It's Sunday as we're recording this. So it's pretty windy out here today still, isn't it? But
yeah.
And this coming week looks set fair, so we get a chance to get out, go and have a ride.
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
Right, should we go see if we can get that much needed coffee?
We sound like we're addicted, don't we?
That'll be mission accomplished if we can find one. I don't know what the coffee's like here, but we'll report back, I'm sure. So, mission accomplished, Carol. What's the verdict?
Haven't tasted it yet.
Go on then. Good?
Yes, that's nice.
Excellent. Strong?
Yep.
Right, let's give it a go. Oh, look at the very fancy little churn thing.
When you said strong, I was going to say just like I like my men.
Well, don't go there, don't go
Then
there.
I'd have laughed, wouldn't I? You can edit that out.
Right, let's see what my verdict is. I'm not editing anything out. If you say it, it's in. Nah.
What a face!
Well,
You look like a bulldog
I
chewing
mean,
a wasp.
it'll do, but I wouldn't recommend it. Alright, so mission accomplished.
At the Red Lion there, which in fact is open much more than you think. Do good looking breakfast in there. I feel I should just explain what I meant about the coffee in there. It wasn't quite as rich and full bodied as I like. I'm a bit of a coffee snob, and I do, if I'm going to have a coffee, I want a nice one. And it wasn't quite as nice as I'd expected in there, but the as I say, the breakfast and stuff looked amazing, so it wouldn't stop me going back there. And now we've discovered that it is actually operational more than we thought. We'll definitely be giving that a try. Anyway, we've had a coffee fix. That was the main thing, so mission accomplished.
Right, we haven't had one of these for a while. I'll probably get into trouble as usual, but anyway, I'll better roll the intro. Yes, time for another Reader's Ride. So this one has been sent in by somebody called Paul Smith. Thank you, Paul, for sending in your photographs and your little bit of description about your bikes here. So let me read you what Paul says while I show you some pictures of his bikes. They look absolutely cracking. Having just watched your latest twits and enjoyed the Reader's Rides, I thought I'd share mine. I tend to agree with you, the number of bikes you own is whatever you own plus one. But in the real world, where finances and available space have a say, I think you're right in having a big tour bike and a fun bike. My forever bike has to be my 1982 R100 RS, with currently 112,000 miles on the clock. Well, very impressive, Paul. And still rising. She's carried me all over the UK and Europe in comfort and style. Last year, we did a selection of the highest alpine passes, including the Stelvio Pass and the Italian Lakes, for good measure. This April, with my friend on his 1982 RS, she took me all the way from Cornwall to the Sahara Desert and then back over the High Atlas Mountains, the old Morocco trip. Excellent. All without missing a beat and showing that you don't need a GS to have adventures. That's very true. She's all the bike I ever need, but to compliment her, I also have a 1990 BMW K1. She's another mile muncher par excellence and a real head turner wherever we go. Now, I have to admit, Paul, I'm not sure which bike's which here. Anyway, such a torquey engine, you don't really need the gearbox. Just snick it into fifth and roll on and off the throttle as the miles fly by at whatever speed you select. Ultimately, if I had space, I'd really like an original Airhead Boxer GS, complete my perfect trio of bikes. But at the moment, the available space is taken up with my 2003 Mercedes R230 SL500. Oh, nice. So for the time being, 2 bikes will have to do. Keep up the great work with the channel. Regards, Paul Smith. Well, thank you very much, Paul, for sending in your bikes. Something a little bit different. These look absolutely cracking. As I've said before, Anything before 2012, I have no idea what they are. Obviously, these look like BMWs to me, but as I say, I'm not quite sure which one's which. But they look like they're absolute cracking bikes for a long tour with that amount of wind protection and so on. So thank you, Paul, for sending those in. If you've got a bike or bikes that you'd like featured on Reader's Rise, do send them to me. A few pictures, preferably in landscape. More pictures, the better. Some blurb about what the bikes mean to you, why they're so good, etc. Send them to me at themissandenflyer@gmail.com, and we'll get you on the next Reader's Rides. Right, I mentioned earlier that the weather was pants at the back end of last week, so I'm going to show you a little video I took on Friday, and this is a case of sod's law kicking in. Why is it whenever I need to take a bike to Nige for a service or whatever, the weather's always absolutely hideous, but my bike is recently cleaned? Check out my GS. Looking absolutely spangly and lovely, but I've now got to ride it in the rain to go and see Nigel for its service. How annoying.
So it might be a wet and horrible day here in Great Bissenden, but I suppose I should be grateful. At least it's not cold as well. It's, what, 14 degrees out here, so it's not cold and wet, which it could be. I've seemed to have got myself into this situation where my bikes need to be sorted out in winter in terms of servicing and MOTing, or they were. And I've been slowly trying to, number one, coincide the servicing and the MOT together. So whether it needs an MOT or not, I'll get it MOT'd when it's serviced. So they're coincident, as it were. And then also try and make that happen in the summer, so this situation is less likely to happen, because the bike was absolutely spangly, as you saw, and by the time I pick the bike up later, it having been serviced by Nige, then it's going to be absolutely covered in crud, and that'll drive me mad, as I'll have to wash it again. So that's just me. Is it just me that's like that? I don't think it is. I mean, at the very least, I'll give it a wash down with a hose just to get the grit and stuff off. At least there's no salt this time of year. I suppose that's one good thing. So yeah, those lovely sunny summer riding days we had so many of, a distant memory now. I mean, you do get some nice days in the winter, don't you? So I'm sure all is not lost as far as riding in the UK is concerned this year. But boy, given the choice, I'd rather be doing it in the sunshine than this liquid variety. So yeah, taking the Beamer off for its first service since I've owned the bike, which seems to have come around quite quickly. And when you don't do that many miles on a bike, I mean, I probably do, it depends on the bike, but maybe 4,000 miles a year on this bike. It does make you wonder whether you should get them serviced every year. I always do religiously, because I'm a big believer in getting vehicles serviced on time. But you know, sometimes I'll take a bike to Nige that I've only ridden 400 miles on in a year, and that you know, and if you're paying a couple of £100 to get it serviced, it does make you wonder whether you're doing the right thing. But I guess for me, I want to make sure my bikes are in tip-top mechanical order, so servicing for me on time is a thing. Interested to hear your views on that though. It's great to be out on the big Beamer actually, even though it's just a quick ride up to Chesham to the workshop. It's been a little while since I went out on this bike. I've not been very well for a few weeks. I've had this latest version of COVID that's going around, so I didn't ride for about 3 weeks, and then we had a little family holiday. Well, me and Carol went away to Dorset for a week, so hence this is probably the first time in a month I've ridden this bike. It's lovely to be back aboard. Fantastic, these machines. I do love a 1250 GS. So I intend to keep this in tip-top condition, because I want this to last as long as possible, because at the moment there's not a bike on the market really that I'd rather have. Maybe a Multistrada V4S, but no, this is the bike of choice for me. Loving it. Anyway, look at this weather, it's getting worse. Let's give you a little wipe. So I'm going to go on anyway up to Chesham, drop the bike off at Nige, and then a bit later on this afternoon, hopefully I can get a lift back to pick it up, and we'll see if she feels any different, and also see how much I got charged for a service, and then maybe we'll have a little chat in the comments about how much you pay for service in your GS. We'll see how we compare. Alright, speak later.
This is the only problem with this dropping your bike off for work malarkey. Of course, you've got transport on the way to the workshop, not on the way back, and it's a flipping long walk back to Great Missenden from Chesham, but I could do with the exercise, and well, At least it's not raining too hard.
Alrighty, so it's actually the next day, as you might be able to tell by now. Blue sky and sunshine. It's absolutely blowing a hoolie out here. Like overnight we had something called Storm Amy blow through, and it's brought loads of leaves down and stuff. Actually, apparently it was the remnants of a couple of hurricanes that had merged off the coast of Florida and made their way across the Atlantic. So thank you, the US, for sending us Storm Amy. It's that time of year, I guess. But it has dried the roads out, which is good news. Anyway, picked up the bike from Nige, all serviced. I have to say, it's feeling absolutely lovely. Not that it felt bad or anything before, but you know, new fluids, new oil, and it's feeling like a brand new bike. What a cracking machine it is. Anyway, I said we'd talk about cost of servicing and stuff. So obviously Nigel's an independent guy, and I use him for all my bikes. I just trust him. He knows what he's doing. I don't feel he's ripping me off. You know, I've seen his work in action, and I like his style. Been using him for years now. So even though the bike is still under warranty, it hasn't got that much warranty left, I'm quite happy to use him. And of course, being an independent, a bit cheaper than a main dealer. So I say that, I don't actually know, of course, because I've used Nige, I don't really know how much a main dealer would charge, but for that service I've had £199. How does that sound to you? If you've got a similar bike to this, how much do you pay for it to be serviced? It'd be very interesting to know. Now, of course, prices of things like servicing does vary depending on where you live in the country. And I'm just going by my car, for example. So I've got a car, obviously I get serviced, and I've got a pal who's got exactly the same car, who lives up north near Wigan, and he pays a fraction of the price that I pay. So, for example, on the car, I pay £90 an hour for work to be done on it, and that round here is not a bad price. You can pay more than that. That's on a Jaguar. Yet my mate pays something like £60 an hour, which is a huge difference, obviously. So I wondered whether there's, and I assume it's the case that on bikes there's a massive variance as well. Anyway, I think for an annual service, £200, that's all right as far as I'm concerned. Interested in your comments below? Right, now that rain stopped, and because it's nice and windy, the roads are drying up. I think we're going to go and enjoy the bike for a bit. Wow, look at those leaves.
Right, let's come bang up to date, shall we, with what I've got in the garage at the moment. Let's revisit the man cave, check out these bikes that I've got at the moment.
Right, welcome back to the garage then, where despite what my hoodie may say, I've got a couple of Royal Enfield classics in for you here. Look at this, retro bikes I should say. So we've got on the right here, we've got the new Royal Enfield, well, new to me, Bear 650, and on the left we've got the Classic 650. So both these bikes share basically the same engine, but obviously very different styles of retro bikes. The Classic 650 being based on a bike from the sort of late 1940s, I suppose, and the Bear 650, very similar to the Interceptor, more of a scrambler type bike, but I suppose reminiscent of something that you might have got from the sort of 60s, early 70s, something like that. Let's take a quick look at both of them, point out a couple of things that have struck me before I do the first ride reviews that are coming up soon. First off, the Bear. It's a lovely bike, this. I mean, I like the Interceptor anyway, so I'm a bit biased, but I like what they've done with the scrambler effect on this. I love the gold forks. It comes in different colours. They don't all have gold forks, by the way, if you're one of those people that doesn't like gold forks. It's now got LED lights all round. Not sure about these indicators. They look a bit massive and chunky to me, but they are now LED. The thing that I really like about it is this display here that they've got. I'll turn it on. You may not be able to see it very well with this camera because the refresh rate goes a bit funny, but it's a beautiful display. If you're going to do a TFT display on a retro bike, then I think that is the way to do it. Analog presentation and really clear. It's beautiful. You can also run navigation on this as well, which is quite something. So love that. The only downside with it, which I only noticed recently, is when you're sat on the bike, look, it's slightly offset. It's not central, and that could get on my nerves after a while. I don't think so, but it's an interesting observation anyway. Anyway, there we go. So lovely finish on it. Royal Enfields have really come on well now. It's got this really nice sort of black crackle finish to the cases there. Lovely exhaust. Not high level like you'd expect on a scrambler, but nonetheless Scrambler-esque. Really nice seat as well. It's got this sort of leather effect. It's not leather, but it's nice and grippy and it looks good. And yeah, really nice bike. I have done the first ride review. I just haven't published it yet, but I've obviously really enjoyed riding it. So that's that one, or a quick first look. Moving on to the Classic then, which is a bike I've been really looking forward to riding, because I had the Classic 350 on long-term loan from Royal Enfield. I think it was last year, might have been the year before, and I really loved it, but my sort of summary of it was just a bit heavy, just a bit underpowered. So the question with this bike is, now it's got the 650 engine, it's obviously going to have better power, but is it now, obviously the 650 is going to be a lot heavier than the 350, so the bike's even heavier. So has it all worked out for the good? So it's kind of, is this now like retro charm, or is it a heavyweight nightmare? We shall see. Again, stay tuned for my first ride review coming up soon to check that out. But just a couple of the details here, some things I noticed about this that kind of charmed me immediately. First off was this. Look at this mudguard here, these coach lines on here, actually hand painted. You can see the lines on here where it's been done by somebody by hand. The same on the tank as well. These lines down here are hand painted, as are the ones around here. Very skillful, proper craftsman involved. Really like that. Really chunky, sturdy looking bike. It feels like it's made of girders when you're riding on the thing. It is heavy. It's 248 kilograms, something like that, ready to ride. If it was mine, I'd remove this subframe, which you can take off, get rid of that back seat, and it looks far better without that. Also, I'm not too keen on this colour. I think this is the teal blue or teal green. It looks like powder puff blue to me. I wouldn't go for this. There are other colours that are much better, but yeah, beautiful bike. Twin pipes on it as well, which makes it sound great, because you get almost like a stereo effect when these pop and crackle, which is a bit of a winner. So yeah, really like that. So two classics again from Royal Enfield. So I'm going to have a bit of a run of those coming up on the channel, but yeah, really like both these bikes. So if you're interested in Royal Enfields, stick around, stay tuned to the channel.
And indeed, if you are interested in those Royal Enfields, the reviews of those bikes are coming up quite soon, actually. The Bear is coming up, well, it's currently scheduled for the 15th of October, and the Classic is scheduled for the 25th of October. So again, stick around, stay tuned, hit subscribe, make sure you don't miss it. Those videos coming up soon. Alrighty, that's just about it for this Twits then. Hope you enjoyed that. Went on a bit longer than I anticipated, so apologies for that. But hopefully this little bonus video has been of interest. Let me know the sorts of things you want to see on Twits. Don't forget to send me your Reader's Rise and leave me any comments below on the stuff we've looked at in this edition. Alright, look forward to speaking to you again soon. Until then, this has been the Missing and Fly. Cheerio.
Am I the only person who comes and stands in his garage just to look at his bikes? I hope not.